Hi there, it's Kevin.
I'm Sherri.
And we are here at the pavilion, and it is Wednesday, and we set those mouse traps on Saturday, so we're going to take a peek and see if we have anything. I'm hoping we do.
Yay!
Okay, so these traps I have set up here all seem to be still set and not sprung. Okay, that didn't work. Hi there, I'm Kevin.
I'm Sherri.
Welcome to Logs,
Bogs, and Meadows.
Okay, Sherri, what are we looking at here?
We are checking out the meadow progress of what's blooming, and not blooming, but getting ready to grow. And also I'm looking for those nasty weeds. We have a lot of the ryegrass coming up. And then we have a lot of these little white flowers. They're white and pink, kind of, but they're all through the forest. They're called spring beauties. And we have those already here. And we have some, I looked it up. Now I forgot it already, what it's called. Springwort or something like that. One of the first flowers that come up for the...
Are they the little yellow ones?
Yeah. I'll look it up then. But these low to the ground, so they don't get affected by cold as much. And they're very important to have because of the early, when the bees are waking up and other insects, they have something to eat. So I'm just always checking the progress here to see what's growing, and I'm excited. I'm ready to get to work in the meadow.
All right, we're ready to put you to work in the meadow.
Yeah.
We just got to have the weather break a bit.
Yes, yeah, enough rain. And then I've been pulling out this garlic mustard also, which this is everywhere. Where are you, little saplings?
But right now we're walking on the, what is the name of this?
Boundary trail.
The boundary trail.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. This was the first trail that we made, and it was made with the tractor but without any implements. And it was a little rough going, but we did it, and now it's quite a nice trail.
I see one of our Norway spruces over here. Got a little tipped over from all the ridiculous winds. Ow, what that sharp. Yeah, I'll have to come back with a stake or something, but part of it's alive and part of it is not.
Yeah.
I think I planted 2 or 3 in here.
You planted more than one.
Yeah.
There's one over there.
Oh, way over here, yes. Good eye, good eye. Darn stiltweed. Stiltgrass. This one looks pretty good. Pretty happy.
It does look good.
Yeah.
Still grass is kind of growing up around it, but it actually probably gave it some protection to the cold.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, the ones at the bottom seem pretty green.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it gave it a little blanket.
Right. Okay, this tree here is a great example of what happened when they logged our property. Now, I can't say for sure. It could have been a storm that brought this down, but we see this a lot in here, especially with the hickory trees. And what happened is, we believe, when they took down the bigger oaks, they weren't careful, or maybe it's just a casualty, but a lot of these things get hit by other trees. They're snapped down. It's actually still alive. You can see that it's growing, but we've got a lot of trees like this, unfortunately.
I do see some growth from that meadow mix. I put in there. And I do know I have some white pine over here.
You're missing all the woodpeckers flying in the woods down here, Sherri. They're all over the place.
Oh, they've been over here too, zipping through the trees.
I know we probably can't get them on camera.
Well, where the heck did they go? Here's one. Looks like something likes the tippy tops of them. There were like 4 or 5 of them here. Something likes to eat them, I guess.
Likely the deer.
Daggone it. That's not very nice of them. Let's see what our sycamore tree's up to. Seems pretty good.
So when did you plant these sycamore trees, Sherri?
This will be the second, so 2 years ago.
In the fall, I believe. It'll be 2 years in the fall. I think you planted them in the fall.
I don't know.
You got them from the Penn State Extension
Penn State Extension,
sale.
yeah. Probably cut this little side shoot off so it can focus on getting taller. I had already cut one off down here. That one seems happy where it's at. Here's our other sycamore tree. And this one has 2 sides. So I think I have to cut one side shoot to have it grow better.
Now, if you cut that side shoot
Right
and stick
here.
it in the ground, do you think it might grow?
I don't know. It might. There's
If
only
you're
one
gonna
way
cut
to
it, you
find
might as well
out.
try it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's so wet
Yeah.
on the ground. It's just a matter of if we keep getting rain, because once it dries out.
And so why did you plant sycamore trees when we have a very robust forest?
I like sycamore trees, and they also grow quickly. So we wanted something to grow, and they grow straight. They grow up.
Okay. And sycamores are native to this area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they get and I like the poofy seeds that they make, and also the texture of the bark.
Okay.
You can see that it's very wet. There's like algae growing on things in the puddle, and the ground is very dead looking. There's some ryegrass coming up. So maybe if it dries a bit, there'll be some hope for some wildflowers or some native grasses to come up.
So you planted your wildflower mix in here last fall?
Yeah.
Okay, this is very wet right now in the spring. It does dry out in the summer though.
Yes. And I've been trying to keep this mowed during the summer to keep the stilt grass down. And I did pretty good at keeping it down before it went to seed. So I'm hopeful that we'll have something other than stilt grass grow.
All right. So what we're looking at right now is Turtle Trail. And in the spring and early summer, this is very, very wet. And it's where we see a lot of turtles. And so aptly, we named it the Turtle Trail.
We also see froggies.
Yeah.
In the puddles.
Correct. They seem to jump in as we go. But in the heat of the summer, this will dry up. But obviously right now, it's not the heat of the summer. I'm going to continue on the traditional Turtle Trail, which was the first trail that was made. It's very, very wet. Sherri made an alternate route over here. I guess we'll call that the express route.
The bypass.
The bypass. But over here, this was the original Turtle Trail. It's very wet. So the bypass is a little bit more dry.
Trying to see if maybe there. Whoop! Yep, there's something in there. Just went under a leaf. So yeah, there's some things swimming around in there, like some little. What are they? Little fish? Little frog? Maybe they're tadpoles.
They might be mosquitoes hatching.
Oh no.
They could be tadpoles, so you're right.
Well, something that looked like a little frog went under the leaf.
Okay.
Maybe it was one of those meepers. And you see on top of that puddle there, it's got like the froth. That could be some frog eggs.
Okay.
It could be mosquito eggs too, but we'll go with the positive.
So I saw today that we're going to be inundated with cicadas soon that are on a 17-year life cycle. They haven't hatched since 2008. Are you aware of that, Sherri?
I did not know that.
Yes.
I think there's some kind of special cicada thing happening every year now.
Yeah. Well, it's taken a while. So I'm just following this guy right here. Guy in the shadow. Okay, so we're approaching the stream, and this is the wider part of the stream, and it actually has a little island here in the middle. You can see all the skunk cabbage growing on the island. And this is downstream from the confluence, so a little bit more water than where we're at upstream.
Some little violets blooming. Just a few of them.
All right.
Yay!
Yay, violet.
Go spring. Go spring.
The skunk cabbage are getting big.
So we've been clearing this path, and the first time we did it, we did not have Jim Bob, so we used whatever that machete sickle thing is, and also some shovels. And I was trying to get the greenbriers, and the greenbriers are very thick, and they have little thorns on them all the time. And so if you want to have a look-see, you can see what one looks like in the path. And you can see they're in there pretty good. They don't come out easily. So while I was clearing, I was hitting it with the shovel, and I was stomping on it with my foot. And then I stomped on it, and I was like, ow, that tingled a bit. And then I looked down. Now, keep in mind, it's like April, so it's still cold. And I looked down, and there's a bee on my leg, and another bee, and then another bee. And here I was standing and digging on a nest in the ground. So then I kind of panicked, but then I took my stuff and I ran back to the RV, and I cleaned my legs off. I put ice on it. I took ibuprofen. I took Benadryl. And the doggies were very sweet, and they came right next to me because I knew something was wrong with Mama. And then I just am very careful now.
So how many times did you get stung?
I don't know, not at least 9.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then another time I was over where we were earlier with Jim Bob with the grapple digging and pulling up stuff. And I felt the sting on my belly. And guess what? Another bee's nest. So I've been stung quite a few times here, but I keep going.
All right. Sometimes, when you buy an old property, you buy a lot of the history that you really don't want. In this case, this is part of a lawnmower deck that was probably several decades ago thrown on this property as a piece of trash. And so what we've done is we've collected a lot of this trash, put it in piles, and with the building of the new home, we have a dumpster. And so we now got a little work to do because we've got to go through our forest, load up all the trash onto the firecracker, and get it in a dumpster. At least we have a means to do it now. Here's another pile of trash. So we have a couple of them. So we're at the stream now. We've got a very, very steep hill here. And up this bank is where a lot of the trash came from. I don't know if you can see it. There's trash up there that's been coming down for years. And at one time, this was just a farm dump. And it's a shame because a lot of this ended up in the stream. We pulled it out. And we'll get rid of all we can now that we have the dumpster. Yeah, and right in the center of the frame there is an old boat motor. Yeah.
And we need to go up there and pull that stuff down because each year more stuff, because of gravity and erosion, more stuff falls down the hill and into the creek. So that's going to be a big project to get some of that stuff so we're not, you don't want anybody getting cut, but also not polluting the water.
And not falling down that hill. So we are looking at a tree here that unfortunately has been brutally wounded by some scrupulous loggers. And what you're seeing is the face cut over here, scarred over a bit. What's interesting is that when you come around to this side, you actually see the back cut. And they took that thing all the way through, but they didn't drop this tree. And so now what we have is a tree that's been pretty severely injured, and it's a beautiful tree. And it's just trying to survive now, but sooner or later, I imagine it's going to fall over. It's unfortunate. Here's another tree that has a scar on it. And right in there. And it also has a back cut. And what's interesting about this tree is that it's not even an oak tree. This is a tulip tree. And so they weren't cutting that for hardwood. It's not a hardwood that you would cut down. They were logging white oak, and they did this. And it's unfortunate because this is a beautiful tree with a beautiful feature at the bottom here where the stream cuts under that log. And I don't know how much life is left in this tree. I hope a lot because it's a beautiful place.
So down here along our stream, earlier in the year, last month I believe, I came down here and hacked a lot of the multifloral rose and the brambles that were growing in here, big tangled mess, and went through and cut those down, but I cut it to the base, and part of the reason I did that and not pull it out is because I want the roots to stay in the ground to help the dirt stay in place. If you're down here, you can see some silt and stuff in the stream, and that's from it, the runoff where there aren't any plants. So that's one of the things we're doing is cleaning up along here that it looks nice, but it also is beneficial for our stream to make it healthy for all the critters, including us. So we're here looking for signs of spring. And another first sign of spring is a beautiful redbud tree. And that will get those vibrant purples. We have a fair amount sprinkled through the forest, but this one, since it's in the sun, it's right by the stream, it's one of the first ones to bloom. So very excited to see that.